Hey everybody, how's it going? Man, my allergies are killing me right now. Might need some of Connor's eye drops. No, I'll try regular something. Just my eyes are stinging. I don't even know what's high right now. Something's up in the air. No, don't hit the same one that didn't work. Hit a different one that might work. It says nothing. Well, trees are moderate. So what kind of trees are there right now? Because it's ridiculous for there to be trees out there right now. This is not tree season. It's a low day. It's a low pollen day. Come on, show me the... I don't want to see your ads. I want to know what trees. Hickory. See, that's not stuff I'm allergic to. Osage orange. I'm not allergic to that stuff. Why do my eyes itch? Wearing my goofy glasses instead of my suave. See what an enormous difference that makes. Okay, now if I could just kind of get in the center. My face is swollen too. All right, everybody. Cynthia, good evening. Sarah, glad to have you. Misty, good to see you. 2 bags of Brazil nuts. I agree completely. Kimberly, how are you doing? Ben, hope you and Song are well. Cheryl's with me tonight. Janice, hope you and David are doing well this evening. Sarah took her first shot, and I'm not stillling well, but getting better. First what shot? Yeah, those are my Clark Kent glasses. These are my... Man, my face is really swollen. Maybe I have the fisheye lens on. Or maybe I'm gaining weight. I think I'm allergic to air. I'm allergic to oxygen and nitrogen. Candace, good evening to you and Joel. Luana, how you doing? Did you take your first COVID shot, Sarah, and you got kind of sick from that? I don't think I had any reaction to the first one. The second one wiped me out for sure. Well, all I can tell you is take the day off after your second shot. Because chances are if the first one hit you, the second one's going to wipe you out. But just for a day. It's just for a day and then it's over. Christine, how are you? Good evening to our folks over on YouTube. Why is our garage door opening? It's very unusual. 3 days off. That's good. I'll give you a day off to suffer and a couple days to recover. Yeah, I guess everybody's different, Kim. I'm normally the person who's like the opposite. If a normal side of effect of a drug is whatever it is, I'm usually the opposite of that. They say that like 40 to, I guess 40 to 60 kind of is the, and then specifically like 45 to 55 is the like the age range that typically suffers the worst after the second COVID shot. But if the second COVID shot is bad, as far as I understand it, it just means that your body has a good response. It got a good immune response, and it's recognizing the mRNA from the COVID vaccine, and until it realizes it's not a live virus, it throws your body into full-blown defense. Never got the swine flu shot, so I didn't have that experience. But they are talking about booster shots for COVID, so I don't know. This fall I might be getting flu shot, pneumonia shot, and COVID shot. Who knows? I'm definitely due for a pneumonia shot, though. I know a bunch of friends my age got pretty wiped out on the second shot. But everybody's different. You never know. I think Misty didn't have any issues. And she's my age, mostly. Yeah, I heard about the Pfizer booster. I don't know. Yep, Misty had no issues. You just never know. $7:06. We'll wait just a couple more minutes. We'll get going on Hebrews chapter 12 verses. What are you doing? 18 to at least 29, and depending on how long that takes, we might finish up, because the last chapter is just the closing. It's just the closing of the letter. It's not even really like a summary of the contents of the letter itself. It's more like just a closing, like something you would say at the end of a letter. Something similar that is said at the end of letters to churches. Let's put it that way. By authors in the New Testament. But we'll see. You know me, I don't rush this stuff. You had pneumonia, flu, and shingles all on the same day and no problem. Well, that's definitely not the norm. But I'm glad that all that was no problem. Oh, the shot. See, that's different. See, I was thinking that you had pneumonia, flu, and shingles all diagnosed on the same day and you had no issues. Yeah, those shots, I don't ever react to the normal flu shot or the pneumonia shot. I haven't had the shingles shot yet. The only vaccine I've ever had any kind of reaction to is the second COVID shot. I guess the first one I had a little bit of reaction to, didn't I, too? Nope, he doesn't just say sincerely the author of Hebrews. That'd be very short. But it's some good stuff. It's just not stuff that I think there's a whole lot of value in going as deep as we do about some other things. But let's get going. Let's take a look at Hebrews 12:18. Yeah, Luana, I was really impressed for just a couple minutes there, but glad that you've never had the flu, pneumonia, and shingles all at the same time. I did have the flu and bronchitis at the same time, and that was enough to make me, I think, as sick as I've ever been. Yep, that is rare. I didn't get chickenpox until I was in high school. I was like a junior in high school, I think. Which I think is kind of, isn't that kind of bad? Isn't that kind of dangerous? No. Cheryl would know. I guess it's not. Maybe chickenpox is bad if you get it when you're older. Anyway, Hebrews 12. So what's happened at the beginning of Hebrews 12 is we've had a reminder of what Jesus went through, and a reminder that no matter how bad we think things have gotten, we've never gone through what Jesus went through, and he remained sinless and perfect through all of that. And so since what we've gone through doesn't compare to what Jesus has gone through, we have no excuse for our falling short of imperfection, other than the fact that we all fall short of the glory of God. But it doesn't let you off the hook, right? It requires that you continue to have faith in Jesus, which is what the author of Hebrews wants his people to demonstrate, is their faith in Jesus. That's been the issue from the beginning of the book. I don't even need to say it because you know it. The issue has been that people are starting to lose their faith, and he's reminding them that Jesus went through much worse than they'd gone through, and Jesus never lost his faith. He never doubted. He definitely didn't want to die on a cross, but he was willing to do that. So here he reminds his people to endure trials for the sake of discipline. Anyway, this is all stuff that we went over last week. Let's go over new material, beginning with Hebrews 12:18. And some of this is really deep, and I've read through the commentary, and I don't really want to go that deep. So I'll try to go as deep as I have to so that things don't leave us confused, but not necessarily so deep that we walk away with a full understanding, because otherwise it'll take us a month to get through this. So the author says, "You have not come to something that can be touched, a blazing fire, and darkness, and gloom, and a tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and a voice whose words made the hearers beg that not another word be spoken to them. For they could not endure the order that was given. If even even an animal touches the mountain, it shall be stoned to death. Indeed, so terrifying was the sight that Moses said, 'I tremble with fear.'" Okay, so without going in too deeply, I just understand that the author of Hebrews is talking about Mount Sinai, and about what a sacred, holy, separate place Mount Sinai was. The place where Moses even said, something to the effect that he wanted to see God's face, but he knew that he would die. And so God made a cleft in the rock for Moses. And that's where we get the song "Rock of Ages, Cleft for Me." And hid Moses and passed by so that Moses could see him go by. Because if anybody saw the face of God in those days, they knew that death would soon follow. And there was a commandment that if an animal touched Mount Sinai, it had to be stoned to death. And so if an animal, a non-sentient animal, touched the mountain, and would be stoned to death, what would happen to a human if they did that? So he's saying you've not come to something that can be touched. And like I said, this is admittedly confusing, okay? But all these things that he's talking about, blazing fire, God is often mentioned in fire, the burning bush, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. Where there is flame in the Old Testament, there is usually God. So the blazing fire would be the presence of God. Darkness, gloom, and a tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and a voice whose words, the very words, made the hearers beg that not another word would be spoken to them. Indeed, so terrifying was the sight of Moses that he said, I tremble with fear. But instead, you have come to Mount Zion. So you didn't go to Mount Sinai, where you weren't allowed to be part of it, where you were separated from it, where God spoke only to Moses, and then Moses came down and spoke to the people, where there was this God was so holy and humanity was so defiled that the two could not even come into contact with one another without an intercessor. In their case, it was Moses. But instead, you've come to Mount Zion. And Mount Zion is reflective of the city of the living God. Mount Zion and the heavenly Jerusalem are basically the same sort of reference, same sort of end of times kind of idea, even though obviously it wasn't literally the end of times, but it was perhaps for them an end of a time. It was the end of the time where you've come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, the place where you can walk with God, because the intercessor is God. The intercessor is Christ, and Christ is God. Christ is the Son of God. Christ is the ultimate mediator